First things first, Lucy is a physical anomaly character that builds her anomaly build-up stacks with her E here. She spins like a Beyblade. I'm going to just show you the animation. It starts off slow here, and then it slowly gets faster, all the way until she reaches a maximum, and then she slam dunks automatically. I didn't release the E, but it ends like that, or you could release the E and end it prematurely. You notice below her HP bar here, you have a small stack that's just about to disappear, and that actually is the physical anomaly build-up that you get. It normally ends at 20 stacks, which increases like 20 times this number that you see in green over here for the physical anomaly build-up rate, depending on the level of your core skill. It lasts for 12 seconds, so you actually want to reach this max stack as quickly as you can, so you can like keep spinning and have a lot of physical anomaly build-up rate as well. Now, a lot of people will actually make the mistake of pressing E at stationary like this, so that you can build up the stacks from nothing all the way. This is a huge mistake that a lot of Piper players might not know. Instead, there are a few ways that you can reach the max speed very quickly. The first, of course, and there's two ways. So first, of course, is just smacking 1, 2, 3. Once she back swings the hammer, immediately press E, and you can see here, you immediately hit the max speed. So you get a lot of physical anomaly on this particular unit. As you can see here, we reach the max stack super fast because we are at already max speed. So again, 1, 2, 3. Once the hammer swings backwards, immediately press E and you are at max speed straight away. This is very important for her playstyle because one, it saves you fail time and it helps you reach max stacks quicker so that you are able to proc a lot of anomaly. People that don't do this will complain that she's a lousy character, isn't very strong, but in fact it's probably just an understanding of her gameplay as well. The second way, how do you make it at max speed straight away, is requiring a dodge. And this one is a bit tricky, so do follow me a little bit. So one, you dodge and you counter, so dodge, counter, and then immediately press 1 auto and straight away spin. So the spin always comes after the backswing. So what is the backswing animation? I'll show you again. Now let's try to do it a bit slower. So dodge, counter, and 1 basic attack, and then immediately press E after that. So I was a bit delayed because I did a back step, but let's try it one more time, real slow. And he's of course now shocked out, so let's just wait for him to chill out a while. And if you're finding value in this video so far, do like and subscribe for more of such future content. I help you guys understand characters better. So again, dodge, smack, 1 basic attack, backswing hammer, and immediately E. You reach the max speed immediately, and boom, it automatically releases. So there are 2 ways that it releases, as we mentioned previously. When in your E here, where let me just find that real quick, in your skill, EX special attack, how it drops below 20 energy, or once the spin duration of the spin reaches its limit, that's when it will just slam down on the heavy. Why the slam down is good also, if let's say you don't want to spin all the way, let's say I'm just doing 1, 2, 3 to reach the max speed, and then I spin and immediately slam down. This is great also. You don't have to spin the entire stacks. You lose the physical anomaly gain, but what you get is a massive amount of damage. If you notice here, her damage here is 950% damage multiplier with a massive amount of days that she does. Compared to all the initial spins that is like so weak amount of damage, the final slam down is very high, and that is what we are really looking for when we are playing this particular unit. The slam down is the one that's important, as well as the anomaly build up. So if you want to build her for damage, 1, 2, 3, and straight away just E and then immediately slam down to do the maximum amount of damage, maximum amount of days in the shortest period of time. But of course, you might not get your full stacks. So the ideal is her rotation should be, after she procs once, you want to switch into your other characters, Nekomata for example, do DPS, since Nekomata's rotation is a 6-second rotation generally, and immediately after that swap back to Lucy before her stacks runs out. You can start off with a very simple, just press E once and all her stacks will come back. You can see up here in the top left hand corner, stacks reset, and then 1, 2, 3, and then immediately slam down one more time, and then full stacks into Nekomata again, into your other characters. And then after your 12-second rotation, make sure you go back in to Lucy, quickly slam down the hammer. You can see I just resetted the gauge, or 1, 2, 3. If you're maybe a bit slow, then you have to spin a full rotation to charge your full stacks again, and then slam down, helping you build a lot of physical assault and stuff, which is great for Nekomata teams or physical assault teams or any anomaly teams if you're trying to play it that way too. So that is pretty much the difficult part about Piper. The hardest part about Piper is understanding this gimmick about her. The spinning that she needs is very critical for this particular character. As with every single A rank character, I always like to talk about their cinema first before talking about anything else, because the cinemas that you get does change it. Depending on your account, every account is different. Maybe you're super lucky, you have C6, maybe you only have one copy, C0. Let's talk a bit about her as well. So first things first, C1 is probably an interesting one, important one, because instead of 20 stacks, you get 30 stacks instead, which is what you saw why the number is 30 when the text says 20 on screen. C1 is the reason why my stacks go up to 30. And you have additional stacks of power whenever you're spinning, so it helps you charge faster, go higher as well, which is very nice. This basically increases the amount of build-up by that stat by almost 50%, because 20 to 30 is a 50% increase. So that is C1. For C2 here, during your special attack, your spinning, and your engine spin, movement speed increases. When using special attack, 1 trillion tons, this is an EX special attack, really heavy, which is the slam dunk or ultimate to launch a downward smash that hits the enemy. The physical damage dealt by the move is increased by 10%. For each stack of power, this buff is further increased by 1%, just basically helping you increase her DPS output as an anomaly character. So not just focus on purely anomaly damage, she can also become a sub DPS at some times too. So very, very interesting as well. 3 and 5 is just stat increases, so I'm not going to waste your time talking too much about that. For 4, whenever a squad member inflicts attribute anomaly on an enemy, Piper recovers more energy, so it helps her get the max stacks for her to spin a little bit more. Triggers once every 30 seconds, which is about 2.5 rotations. As for Piper, her ideal rotations is a 12 seconds rotation because her stacks run out every 12 seconds. So not too bad as well. You will probably be able to proc this quite often. Last but not least is your C6, your Cinema 6, which is Mild Excitement, increases the duration limit of EX special attack by 2 seconds and extends the duration of power by 4 seconds. This is very, very important. C6 is probably her most critical part because it helps you make your rotation much more smoother. It becomes likely a 2 rotation instead, because now your 30 seconds trigger, you are at a 16 seconds lasting of that power stacks that she builds up. For those of you who don't know, power is the stacks that she builds up as she spins, the 21 for C0, 30 for C6, for C1, and for C6 now you get a bit of duration extend from 12 seconds to 16 seconds, and you can spin longer, which means you can build up more of the physical anomaly for a much longer period of time. C6 is a very different character for Piper as well. So now we talked a bit about her so far. Let's talk about the skill priority that you want. This character definitely wants to have core skill enhancement. Go for A, C, and E as soon as you can. You get more energy to help her spin more longer so you can build up that stacks. At the same time, this helps you increase the amount of physical anomaly build-up. 4% at F, core and skill enhancement, at maximum, which is 80% at C0. And if you are at C1, Cinema 1, and you have the thing, it becomes 120% physical anomaly build-up rate, which is way more than Grace's physical electric anomaly build-up rate in comparison. So very massive, great for assault teams as well. You want to push as high as you can special attack. This is where most of her kit really is, the spinning. And if you are playing basic attack, for example, you are doing that 3 smack and into a spin, or you're dodging into a spin, you can consider investing a bit more basic attack and dodge as well. Very rarely you will spin from speed 0 and then slowly ascend up, because you do less effectiveness, less damage efficiency, your build up is slower, you build less physical anomaly, you waste a lot of energy as well. So many downsides to actually just pressing E and holding E like a newer player. So that is pretty much it. Chain attack, of course, is decent if you want to hit that stacks, but I hardly will use chain attack for this particular unit. Now let's talk about the equipment and how to gear this character now that we know kind of how to play her. In my opinion, out of all of them, I think usually most people would think intuitively Freedom Blues is the way to go. I'll give you some options depending on how invested you are in this particular character and share with you my thought process as well. So proficiency, for those of you who don't know, is the amount of damage that is done during assault. Whereas Anomaly Mastery is the one that is talking about how fast it builds up. So first things first, the physical set. Increase physical damage by 10%, and whenever a squad member inflicts assault on an enemy, the equiper deals 35% additional damage to the target for 12 seconds. This 4-piece is not as good on Piper. If you have a main DPS, put the Fang Metal on that main DPS, because the moment Piper triggers assault, you are immediately switching out of Piper into your main DPS already straight away. So very, very solid already. Increases physical damage, I will go for a 2-piece Fang Metal. That is pretty much what I'll go for. And I'm actually considering 2 options. The first is a early game gear, which you can actually go for a Swing Jazz of 20% here straight away. You can consider even launching a chain attack to buff the enemy, or buff your whole team. So 40% or 4-piece Swing Jazz for the energy regen for that chain attack, and then a 2-piece Fang Metal. This is one option that you can go for a supportive, buffing, spinny kind of character like a Piper to maybe buff a main DPS like Nekomata. The other alternative is you want to make her into a damage dealer, anomaly damage dealer, instead of just a pure support for a main DPS. In that case, you can consider going for Freedom Blues, especially if she's the only physical character on the team. You can run a 4-piece Freedom Blues such that when you increase your anomaly proficiency by 30%, and this is what I'll recommend for most late game players you're playing for a while, because not only do you increase the damage of assault, when you have an EX special attack that hits the enemy, you reduce the target's anomaly build-up resistance to physical for 20 seconds for 8 seconds as well. This is very long, considering a rotation is 12 seconds at C1, C0 to 5, 16-second rotation for C6. This is actually a very, very good amount of uptime for the rest shred that you are doing anyway. I think this is very strong. 4-piece Freedom Blues probably is the top pick, especially if you're building her for the late end game. Other than that, the 2-piece is quite flexible. Physical damage bonus as well as energy regeneration, I think is about the same. Energy regeneration allows you to proc it quicker because you get more energy. Physical damage is more individualistic, a bit more selfish to boost her damage as much as possible. But those are some options that you can consider. For the main stats of your gear, your drive disc, what are you going to focus on? For 6, the tricky part is, do you want Anomaly Mastery or Energy Regen? Anomaly Mastery helps you build up faster, Energy Regen helps you build up the stacks faster, or build up your energy faster so you can spin. My logic is actually going for Energy Regen. I would say 60% of the time you want to go for Energy Regen. Why is that? Is because anomaly-based stuff can easily be obtained from other sources of stuff, such as Piper herself already has 120% at C1 anomaly mastery build up for physical damage. So you don't really need this a little bit additional. What you want is for her to spin. And in order to activate that spinning, I think energy regen is way more important. But I can agree that with some of like 40% of you who say that maybe anomaly mastery is better for you, especially maybe you have other sources of energy, or you are hardly playing Piper on field too long anyway. You are playing with a longer team rotation and stuff like that. So both I think is fine. I would lean a little more towards energy regen for my own personal preference. Physical damage bonus likely is going to be a lot better. All of her damage is physical, plus everything that she does. Her slam dunk does quite a lot of damage as well, so physical damage is definitely quite ideal. And as for the part number 4 here, anomaly proficiency is by far the best. Crit rate attack is not as good, but if you are in the early game, maybe your first few Internaut levels, you could really run with attack crit rate. Even some sustain like HP defense is fine, since she will be on field for a little bit of time, although she does get a damage reduction in her kit too. So that is for the gearing. Before we go into the W engines, which I normally talk about, I actually want to share with you damage buff that she does, and why I actually was suggesting a supportive build for her is because if you see in her additional ability over here, Sync Acceleration, when you have another Sons of Keldron, or you have a physical character on your team, when she has max stacks, 20 stacks or 30 stacks, you actually buff the team's damage by 18%, which actually makes her a very ideal support, a pseudo support with an anomaly element on herself, especially if you're playing with a team of Nekomata. This unit is very, very strong. If you have her, do consider building her. She's very, very good for Nekomata as well. But now, let's go into the last part here, which is talking about W engines. And of course, if you're finding value in this video so far, let me know in the comments below what other characters you want to see if you like the format of this video, and we'll definitely get to it as quickly as possible. I am just one person, but anyways, let's look at the different stuff. We have anomaly here. We're going to the database here to see all the different ones. First things first, Fusion Compiler. This gives you pen, increases attack. When using an EX special attack, anomaly proficiency is increased by 25 for 8 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. This is good if you are trying to assault damage. I think this gives you a good amount of base attack to make every single hit stronger, but it doesn't really put too much emphasis in terms of like the advanced stats and this attack percentage on the proc of assault, but it's still quite solid because you get the increased damage from assault with this anomaly proficiency increase. The other one that we have, of course, Fusion Compiler is S. Not everyone has this S rank one. So let's talk about some A rank alternatives as well. Rainforest Gourmet is free. You get Anomaly Proficiency. Proficiency, again, is the damage when you proc Assault. Mastery is how fast you can proc Assault. So that is the key difference. Anomaly Proficiency and advanced stats. And for every 10 energy consumed, Equipper gains a buff that increases attack by 2.5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. This is very good for her because she drains energy as she's spinning, and as she's spinning, she's doing more damage as she increases her speed, and the final slam dunk gets the max attack bonus that you get, which is very backloaded, similar to her kit, and helping you proc the assault too. So Rainforest Gourmet is a free-to-play one. You can craft it once you have enough weeklies that you have done, or you maybe sacrifice a bit of other A rank ones. Probably a very solid free-to-play option. For Weeping Gemini, gives you attack percentage, and whenever attribute anomaly is inflicted on an enemy, Equipper gains a buff that increases anomaly proficiency by 30, stacking up to 4 times. This effect ends when the target is recovered from stun or is defeated. This is great when you're fighting a lot of enemies, which Piper tends to do, especially if you're spinning a lot of melee enemies. I don't really like it as much compared to Rainforest Gourmet. If you have ranged characters, the buff would noticeably drop quite a lot. Ranged enemies, rather. Last 3 that I want to talk about, one B rank I think is worth mentioning too. Electro Lip Gloss. This gives you 30 proficiency, and when there are enemies with attribute anomaly on the field, you gain additional damage and deal additional target. They deal additional damage more to the target when there's a unit that's already afflicted with attributed anomaly on the field. Usually, I would say this is decent for anomaly characters, but for Piper's case, it's not really. If you think about rotations, the moment you proc Assault, likely you're swapping into your main DPS who wants to make use of the Assault proc in order to do their rotations. In that case, the Equipper not really benefiting from these substats. So I don't really like Electro Lip Gloss for those reasons, since Piper is relatively an on-field character by DPS. Last 2 now. We have Roaring Right, attack percentage. When an EX special attack hits the enemy, which is a spinny, you trigger one of these random effects, which is either increasing the attack, increasing the anomaly proficiency, or increasing Equipper's anomaly build-up. All 3 are favorable. I would actually prefer a bit more on the anomaly proficiency or the anomaly build-up rate, but it is a bit of RNG, and advanced stats is okay. So the last one I want to really mention is Magnetic Storm Bravo, and any of you free-to-play players who don't have all of these gears yet, maybe you're running both Grace as well as Piper, and you're just looking for that additional gear, consider this one, especially at 5 rank. Let's just look at this one here, Magnetic Storm Bravo at 5 copies. It gives you a massive amount of anomaly proficiency by 40 for 10 seconds, triggers once every 20 seconds. Unfortunately, it has a 50% downtime and it eats into rotation. So 1 rotation you get this, 1 rotation you don't for Piper. But it's a B rank and it gives you a lot of anomaly proficiency to help you do a lot of damage through your assaults in that case as well. So definitely a B rank worth considering. In short summary, what do I think? I think that Rainforest Gourmet is likely going to be the best for her in general sense. Free-to-play players can either build Rainforest Gourmet or consider using the Magnetic Storm Bravo for a little bit more assault proccing. If you're building her for a sub-DPS role, Fusion Compiler is very, very strong as well. Generally, I think a 5-star status will be very beneficial for her because she does a lot of instances of damage, especially with the multipliers of her Slam Dunk too. Roaring Right is also okay, I guess, since it's very, very... you get this RNG aspect over here. And Weeping Gemini is... or was it Weeping Gemini? It's a backloaded one. One of them is a backloaded. Equippers... Oh, no, sorry. That was this one here. I think Rainforest Gourmet. The backloaded damage was this one. And if you guys found this video helpful, in terms of team compositions that you can get, I think she works best with Nekomata Mia right now, but she's definitely able to stand on her own as the solo physical if you're looking for anomaly proc. If you found this video helpful, again, like and subscribe for more such future content. And if you are interested in more anomaly content, do check out the video that we have on Grace. I think you'll find it very interesting too. Thank you again so much for watching, and see you in the next video.